the young and the restless Spoilers Shock. In the relentless battle for supremacy in Genoa City, Victor Newman continued to hurl accusations at Jack Abbott, branding him a failed father for allowing his own son to betray him. The barbs were sharp and personal, aimed directly at Jack's most vulnerable points. Yet, Victor himself was no stranger to familial discord. His children, Adam and Victoria, had often expressed their disdain for him, and even Nick had distanced himself from working with Victor on numerous occasions. Each family had its own unique set of challenges, but Victor's tendency to exploit these weaknesses was particularly cruel and unacceptable. Jack, facing the brunt of Victor's relentless assaults, was acutely aware of the precarious state of Jabot's finances. The company was stretched thin, and Jack was running out of options. Victory seemed increasingly out of reach, and the pressure was mounting. Desperation began to cloud his judgment, leading him to consider a path he had once sworn never to tread again. The idea of poisoning Victor resurfaced in Jack's mind. Years ago, he had put Victor's life in jeopardy, and he knew precisely where his enemy's vulnerabilities lay. The thought of resorting to such a drastic measure weighed heavily on him, but with Jabot hanging in the balance, Jack felt cornered. The plan was dangerous and morally reprehensible, yet he couldn't see another way out. Victor's age and declining health made him an easy target. The potential consequences of poisoning him were severe, possibly even fatal. Jack was aware of the gravity of his thoughts, but the specter of losing everything drove him toward this dark solution. He wrestled with his conscience, knowing that such an act could forever tarnish his legacy and haunt him for the rest of his life. Deep down, Jack knew that a fair and honorable battle was the only way to truly stand against Victor. The legacy of the Abbott family and the integrity of Jabot demanded nothing less. But desperation had a way of distorting one's principles, and Jack felt the crushing weight of his circumstances pushing him toward this sinister plot. As the days passed, Jack meticulously planned the execution of his scheme. He rationalized his actions, convincing himself that it was the only way to protect his company and his family. He knew the risks, but he felt he had no other choice. In his darkest moments, Jack prepared to unleash his plan, fully aware of the possible repercussions. The night of the planned attack arrived, and Jack's nerves were frayed. He was about to cross a line from which there would be no return. Just as he was about to set his plan in motion, a sudden realization hit him. The consequences of his actions would extend far beyond Victor. The damage to his own soul, the loss of his moral compass, and the inevitable fallout for his family weighed heavily on him. In a moment of clarity, Jack abandoned his plan. He knew he couldn't stoop to such levels, not even to defeat Victor. He had to find another way, a way that aligned with the values and integrity that the Abbott family stood for. The realization was both a relief and a burden, as Jack now faced the monumental task of fighting Victor on fair grounds with limited resources. Jack called a meeting with his closest allies, including Diane and Claire. He laid out the dire situation and the need for a united front. They brainstormed strategies, leveraging every asset at their disposal to mount a defense against Victor's onslaught. The battle ahead would be tough, but Jack was resolved to fight it with honor. Victor, unaware of how close he had come to disaster, continued his aggressive tactics. Jack, now fortified by his decision to uphold his principles, faced his adversary with renewed determination. The war between Jabot and Newman Enterprises raged on, but Jack's choice to fight with integrity gave him a moral high ground that no amount of money or power could buy. As the conflict unfolded, Jack found unexpected allies and innovative solutions. His refusal to succumb to underhanded tactics inspired those around him, strengthening their resolve. The Abbott family, though battered, stood together, resilient and unbroken. In the end, Jack's decision to abandon his dark plan and fight fair became a turning point. It reminded him, and everyone involved, that true strength lay in integrity and honor. While the outcome of their battle remained uncertain, Jack's moral victory set a powerful example for his family and his company, proving that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, one could choose to do the right thing. The struggle against Victor was far from over, but Jack faced it with a clear conscience and a renewed sense of purpose. He had chosen the harder path, but it was the one that would ultimately define his legacy and the future of Jabot.